In May, everything looks strong. The leaves are bright. The stems stand tall. The soil still holds the cool touch of spring. It feels like the garden is doing exactly what it should. Then July arrives. The same plants that looked so healthy just weeks ago begin to fade. The green turns pale. Growth slows down. Some leaves curl. Others turn yellow. You may wonder what changed so quickly. Strong in spring, struggling by midsummer. After watching this pattern repeat year after year, one thing becomes clear. The difference between gardens that stay steady and gardens that fade is often very small. It is not about expensive products. It is not about working harder. It comes down to one quiet habit done early in the day. You are not doing anything wrong. Most gardeners simply miss the timing. Before explaining why this worked, it helps to understand what your plants are feeling long before you notice a problem. Between a cool morning and a hot afternoon, your plants are constantly adjusting. As the sun rises, moisture begins to leave the soil. Leaves start releasing water into the air. This happens gently at first. You do not see it. You do not feel it. But it is happening. By midday, especially in warm regions, the soil near the surface can already be much drier than it was at sunrise. The roots begin working harder. The plant shifts energy away from growth and toward survival. In cooler climates, this stress may build more slowly. The soil may stay moist longer. But even there, small daily strain adds up across weeks. Plants rarely fail in one dramatic moment. More often, they weaken little by little. A warm afternoon here, a slightly dry morning there. A bit of shallow watering that never reaches deeper roots. It is not about watering more. It is about noticing sooner. When stress builds quietly, the garden may look fine for days. Then suddenly, it looks tired. In truth, the decline started long before you saw it. The change begins with something simple, a 5-minute walk in the morning. Not a chore, not a long task. Just a slow step outside before the heat builds. The key insight is this: your garden tells you what it needs, but it speaks most clearly in the morning. Early light shows the true color of leaves. The soil has not yet been warmed or dried by the sun. If you gently press the soil with your fingers, you feel its real moisture level, not the dry crust that forms later in the day. When you look under the leaves, small insects are easier to see before they hide from heat. When you glance at the stems, you notice if growth has slowed or if something looks slightly different. No tools are required, no long bending sessions, just a slow look, a gentle touch, a quiet pause. In the morning, plants show their honest condition. By afternoon, heat can cause leaves to droop even when the soil still holds enough moisture. That drooping can trick you into watering too soon. Evening can also mislead. The soil surface may feel cool. Leaves may lift again after sunset. But the deeper roots may still be struggling. A concern noticed at 7 in the morning is much easier to manage than one discovered 2 weeks later. In dry climates, the difference between morning and afternoon is sharp. The soil can lose moisture quickly. Raised beds dry even faster because air moves around them. In humid climates, the change is softer, but moisture can sit too long around roots, which brings its own problems. In-ground gardens hold water longer, containers dry faster. The morning walk helps you see those differences clearly. One of the most common summer habits feels helpful, but it often causes trouble. Watering on a fixed schedule. It feels organized. Every other day, every evening, the same amount each time. But plants do not follow a calendar. They respond to weather, temperature, wind, and growth stage. When we water on schedule instead of by need, the soil can stay too wet. Roots may remain shallow because they never have to search deeper. Shallow roots make plants more sensitive to heat later in the season. Over time, constant surface watering can also increase disease risk, especially in humid areas where moisture lingers. If this is what you have been doing, that is okay. Many gardeners do the same. It seems logical. The morning check gently shifts that habit. Instead of watering because it is Tuesday, you water because the soil tells you it is time. And when you do water, you allow it to soak deeper, encouraging stronger roots. Small changes like this begin to multiply. You may notice that mulch helps the soil stay steady, but you add it at the right time, after feeling how quickly moisture is leaving the ground. You may spot a few insects early and remove them gently before they spread. You may see a leaf that looks stressed and trim it before the plant spends more energy trying to repair it. You may notice that one section of the garden dries faster than another and adjust your watering there first. None of these actions are dramatic. None require heavy effort. But together, they prevent the slow decline that often shows up in late summer. Tiny daily corrections prevent larger summer problems. Improvement feels steady, quiet, reliable. Climate does matter. In cooler regions, stress often begins later. Spring stays gentle longer. Soil holds moisture more easily. Early in the season, you may not need to check every single morning. A few times a week may be enough. In warmer regions, especially where summers are long and dry, the morning window is shorter. By midsummer, heat arrives quickly after sunrise. Mulch becomes more important earlier in the year to slow moisture loss. You do not need to copy someone gardening in a different climate. What works in a mild coastal area may not fit a dry inland region. Your own soil and weather give the best guidance. The habit remains the same. Notice early. Adjust gently. This routine is meant to feel sustainable. It should not strain your back. If you use raised beds or containers placed higher, you can observe without bending much at all. Even in-ground gardens can be checked by walking slowly and pressing the soil with care. There is no need to rush. No need to carry tools every time. No need to turn it into a long task list. Comfort leads to consistency, and consistency builds resilience in the garden. When gardening feels calm, you return to it more often. When you return more often, small issues are handled early. And when issues are handled early, plants stay stronger through heat. Gardening does not need to feel urgent. It does not need to feel heavy. If you have been gardening for many years, you may already notice certain signs first. Maybe it is the slight color change in leaves. Maybe it is how the soil looks near the stem. Maybe you sense when growth slows. If you feel comfortable sharing, what is the first change you usually notice in your garden when summer begins? Do you prefer checking in the morning? Or do you find yourself walking through in the evening? There is no right answer. It is simply helpful to observe together and learn from different experiences. As the season moves forward, remember this: you do not need more fertilizer to fix midsummer fatigue. You do not need more products lining the shelf. You do not need longer hours in the heat. What helps most is attention at the right time. 5 quiet minutes in the morning, before the sun grows strong, before stress builds, before small issues become larger ones.